What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to an episode of Fishing with Nick. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about the ugly stick Gx2 and why you should or should not pick this up. Because for some people, this can be a great purchase, and for some others, maybe not so much. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, let's start off with the pros of this rod. Pros. Let's start with the number one thing, price. $39.99. That's what it is. Hasn't changed. $39.99. You can get it almost anywhere. Walmart, Cabela's, Amazon. I mean, you might have to hunt around a little bit, but usually you can find this rod or one of its counterparts, a different version, somewhere pretty easily. It's not a hard rod to find, nor is expensive. This one I have here is a two-piece. You can get one pieces, but then again, you could pretty much find any power or length or action you're looking for if you hunt hard enough. Okay, let's get into the next pro, durability. The durability on this rod, it's almost insane just because of how durable this rod is. I mean, I can tell you one time where I lost a fish, I broke off, and I swung this rod. The piece flies off because I don't have anything holding on, and this piece just goes skidding across like a concrete driveway, and it's still fine. I mean, I've pulled, like, fully bent over a 25-pound braid. Nothing is broken. I mean, it's a solid piece of equipment here. The reel seat does leave a little bit to be desired. It's got this twist mechanism here, and I had to use pliers to get it tightened down to where I wanted it. I know you're not really supposed to do that, but I had to because when I set the hook, it was just kind of waggling around a little bit. So I had to really crank it down. Now we get into the cons, and these can be cons for some people and they don't matter so much for other people. Let's start off with my number one gripe with this rod, which is weight. I don't know the exact weight on this rod. I will put a weight, I'll go weigh it, and I'll put a scale thing right here, and then I'll compare it to my Lew's Laser SG1, which is my new bass rod. But it's pretty hefty. It's hefty to the point that if you're working like a bottom bait or something and you're using your left hand, you really don't want to be holding it, especially with the reel line, you know, whatever. It makes your left wrist tired. I mean, you can get like extreme left wrist fatigue, and that's why I almost considered buying a left-handed reel so I could hold in my right hand, which is my dominant hand, and reel with my left. Now, if you're working a moving bait or something of that nature, it's not that big of a problem. But yeah, weight, it's heavy. It's not the lightest bass rod you're ever going to find. But then there's a trade-off. I mean, it's a very, very sturdy piece of equipment. Another small gripe is this hook keeper. You can see right there. I don't know if it's focused or not. There's a little hook keeper there, but I mean, it works just fine, but it bends. Like, if you hit on something, which I do a lot with this rod, it'll bend down to the rod, and you'll have to, like, just pull it back up to get at it. So that's one of my little gripes. Also, this handle, I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of, I don't know, it doesn't fit your finger. It's not shaped really well, and I really haven't had a lot of problems with this, but I do notice it when I go from this rod to my Laser SG1. I really do notice the whole comfortability, I guess, of the whole package. Another con for some bass anglers, maybe it's a full grip. I don't know. I don't like full grips. I have a split cork grip in my Laser SG1, and I mean, I love that thing. But yeah, I just don't like full handles. They don't suit me. But if you're going to use this rod for catfish or something like that, I mean, I wouldn't see anything wrong with that. You have this up here. It's like I don't know what you would exactly call it, but you grab on and you reel if you're reeling a big old catfish or something. So it'd be great in that application. But Specifically for bass anglers, you don't really need this, and you don't have this grip on other rods. I have used this once working a rattle trap, just popping like braced against my stomach. But other than this is just extra weight that's weighing a bass angler down. Now, another con is just sensitivity. I mean, when you get something that's this beefy, I mean, you can kind of expect that you're going to lose some sensitivity, and you do lose a little bit of sensitivity compared to like a lose or even, I'm sure, an Abu Garcia or something of that nature. You do lose some sensitivity. And honestly, the rod action, I confuse. Every fisherman confuses action and power, as do I confuse action and power. The action on this rod is a medium, but to me, it feels a lot more like a medium heavy. Rated for 20-pound line. Of course, I got 25 on here because, you know, it's just whatever. But okay, who is this for? Right now, I'm going to start off by telling you this was the perfect rod for me about a year ago. I wasn't doing any hardcore bass fishing per se. This is not going to be the perfect rod for a tournament angler. It's just not. It's heavy. You're not going to want to be handling this all day. It's cumbersome. This is not going to be the perfect rod for just a hobbyist. Somebody who's really into bass fishing and uses bait casters as their primary forms of projecting a bait onto the water. This is not it. Who this is for is a weekend angler who just does it for fun. Maybe doesn't have a whole bag, just got a little Plano box, throw a conventional or something cheap on there. Another person this is for is somebody who's looking for extreme durability, and that's one of the things that I was looking for when I bought this, because I have broken a lot of rods. I've probably broken 3 or 4 rods in my day. Just, you know, banging it on rocks. I mean, I've dropped this thing on rocks, dropped it on the ground. I mean, it's still in one piece, still works just fine. Speaking of extreme durability, my brother, we got him one of these because he snapped his lose. It was not the rod's fault because he was holding the bail and he just didn't know any better. But so we got him one of these, not this exact model, it's a spinning model. And that brings me to my next point, which is the spinning models. And they're pretty much the same thing. I could go down and get his, but I don't need to because, I mean, it's just this with bigger guides and just not that. It's got the same heft to it. I mean, it's got all the same features, but it's a spinning rod. And I feel like for a spinning rod, it doesn't need to be as light. I mean, maybe not for finesse fishing necessarily, just for like an all-purpose spinning rod. I mean, it can be a little heavier because you're usually using it with your right arm if you're a right-hand dominant angler, so it's not as big of a deal. So if you're somebody who primarily fishes a spinning rod, the Ugly Stik Gx2 might be for you. That rhymed. I did not mean for that to rhyme. It might be for you. It might be the perfect rod for you. I said before, a catfish angler. This would be a great rod for a catfish angler. If you just want to sit on the bank, you're not working bottom baits, you know, working things you got to put action into. If it's just sitting by the river and you know you're not going to break this thing, that might be who it's for. Catfish angler, it's not going to handle anything like super heavy. I mean, but it'll get the job done for anything pond, lake. I mean, I've caught, I don't know, the biggest fish I've caught on this is probably a 4.5 at best, maybe. I don't know. Haven't had any problems though. Another thing I like about this rod before I go is the guides. These guides, they say they're one piece, and I believe them because they look like one piece guides. But my first rod, the first rod I ever owned, had a pop out, a guide pop out on the top guide because I dropped it, right? This eliminates that problem. You're not going to have guide insert pop outs. It's just not going to happen. They have a bunch of these. They also have ultralights. Or not ultralights, but lights, excuse me. My grandfather, I think, uses a light 5.6, if I'm not mistaken, for trout fishing. And, I mean, he hasn't had any problems with it. It's worked just fine. So there's a varying use of applications for these, and also for the budget angler. Somebody who wants something and this is going to be their only rod and they don't want to pay for, you know, multiple rods to get multiple jobs done. In the $40 price range, it's going to last you a lifetime. You're not going to have to replace it. This might just be the rod for you. That was why I bought it, and that's why maybe you should buy it. So I think that's all I have to say for today's video. Thank you for watching. I will have several reviews in the next few weeks. I have them scheduled every 2 weeks or so, so you'll get a review every now and then. But for now, this is my full review of the Ugly Stik Gx2 7-foot medium casting two-piece. Make sure you like, subscribe, go follow me on Instagram. If you're not, I'm going to be doing a giveaway soon, hopefully. I don't know. I'll try. I really will. It's going to be all in the description. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.